Who we got, JB? Who we got tonight, JB? Let the people know who we got tonight, man. Who we got tonight?
Who we got in the building tonight? Man, right below me right here. Y'all might not recognize him, but if you know Birmingham Stallion football, if you're a fan of the Birmingham Stallions, 205 in the building.
Yes, sir.
You know this guy right here below me, man. Good friend of mine, good friend of the show. My dog, Mr. Stallion, State of the Stallion podcast himself. Luke Miller in the house.
All right, Luke Miller.
What's up with you, brother?
Stallions, baby.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's great to be here. That was one of the best intros I've ever got, JB. So I certainly appreciate the hype and really appreciate you guys bringing me on and getting the chance to hang out with you guys and talk some football. It's a lot of fun.
Okay,
yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
So Luke, man, tough loss today, man. Tough loss today. Obviously, that's fresh. This is fresh. So give me what happened today, man. What was the fault today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, you got to give credit to San Antonio. They played a great game, I thought, especially defensively. You know, their head coach is Wade Phillips, who's a renowned defensive mind, and he certainly had his guys ready to play. So, you know, I think they deserve a lot of credit for the job they did. You know, that being said, I thought on the Stallion side of things, some uncharacteristic mistakes, a lot of penalties, and a couple just really stupid penalties that kept drives alive for San Antonio, or, you know, really came back to bite us. So I thought that was pretty disappointing. You know, I think the Stallions have had a couple close games. You know, they had that close game against the AJ McCarron-led Battlehawks a couple of weeks ago that they were able to come out on top of. And then last week against Houston, who's not been a very good team, the game was a lot closer, I think, than people expected. And so they've been kind of, you know, scraping by sort of the skin of their teeth the last few weeks. And they've gotten to the point where they've locked up a playoff spot that is going to be in Birmingham. And so, you know, I think they've been kind of keep going up against these sort of trap games where they don't have maybe as much left to sort of play for. You know, they're coming off these kind of emotional wins. And frankly, I mean, I think you guys can understand this being Alabama fans, but, you know, the Stallions are sort of everybody's Super Bowl in spring football, because everybody wants a piece.
Game.
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of us. You know, they hadn't lost a game yet this year. They hadn't lost a game in over a calendar year. 15-game win streak. So, 15-game win streak. So everybody wants a chance to say that they're the team that was able to finally beat the Stallions. So, yeah, like you said, we're getting everybody's best game. And certainly, again, San Antonio deserves credit, but, like, they brought their best game, you know, to earlier today. And the Stallions offense just – that was probably the most surprising thing. Only 9 points after putting up over 30 for 5 weeks straight. So got to get back to the drawing board and kind of fix some things. But, you know, it's better to get this loss out of your system now than in the postseason, which starts very soon.
Yeah.
Hey, you said a lot there, man. You said a mouthful right there. I put on the crown Kings of Spring because you said something that triggered me, man. We are everybody's Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And everybody, they get it up to come play the Birmingham. So we have to keep that, man. We have to know that every time and bring our A game because we're the Kings of Spring. But I am glad. I know, JT, you tweeted this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'd rather lose right now than to lose 2 weeks from now in the playoff game and then lose in the championship. Don't get it out your system right now, because just like you said, Lou, we've been teetering along for the past couple of weeks now, playing around, playing with fire, and we got burnt today. And I mean, I watched the game, and I was like, man, we're gonna mess around and lose the game, and we actually did.
The tight end is good. No,
great. Yeah, shouts out to Jay Sternberger, dog.
He might be in the lead soon, bro.
He's been in the lead.
I know, but I think he might be coming back. I don't know, dude. He's playing good, and you know, stuff like. But I don't want to get off subject too much on that. But as the main thing right here, we were talking about the game, Luke. You know, didn't turn out as well. But as the question kind of prompts at the bottom, can the Stallions three-peat as UFL champions? Can they do it? Can they?
Yeah. I definitely think they can, for sure. I mean, I think they're still the best team in the league. I think there's no question about that. They're 8-1. They lost a close game today against a very good team that they could have potentially won, despite how poorly they played. I mean, In the UFL, you can go for 3 after a touchdown. So if they score a touchdown at the end there and go for 3, it's a tie game, and we're going into overtime. So, again, we lost. There's no way around that. But it wasn't like we got blown out. I mean, we were right there, and we didn't play our best. So I think what's very clear is that the Stallions are, they are mortal. They are beatable. They're not invincible. They can lose, especially if they shoot themselves in the foot and don't play sort of good disciplined football. But they play Michigan the next 2 weeks, actually. So they play them in week 10, final regular season game, and then they'll play them in the playoffs. And I don't want to jinx it, but Michigan is not a team that the Stallions have ever lost to, going all the way back to 2022. And Michigan's a good team, and I think they certainly have the potential to beat us, but I don't think they're nearly as good as San Antonio, who we lost to today, or St. Louis, who we might see in the championship. So those are the 3 teams we could potentially have to face, definitely Michigan, and then either San Antonio or St. Louis. We've already beat St. Louis, and, San Antonio we lost to today in a close game. So I think assuming the Stallions make that championship game, they beat Michigan, they play St. Louis or San Antonio again, I expect another close game. And I think ultimately it comes down to if the Stallions play the way that they're sort of capable of, I think they're still the team to beat in that championship game. It's just a matter of, showing up and taking care of business, protecting the football, doing all the things that they sort of struggled with today. But obviously you'd like to think that a different team is going to sort of show up in the championship than the team that showed up today, because it was just very clear that San Antonio came more ready to play today than the Stallions did. And you would hope that in the championship, they'd sort of bring their best game.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, man. That's true. And I got one question I want to piggyback on that and ask you, man. You mentioned we play Michigan next week, and then we play them again in the playoffs. Do you think we should, I don't want to say this, like let them win, but not give it a whole 110% next week and go into the playoffs and just go steamroll them in the playoffs, kind of try to take it a little easy next week?
Yeah, it's a weird situation because, the Stallions last year had a similar situation where they went into week 10. They'd already locked up a home playoff spot, but the team that they were playing wasn't the team they were going to play in the playoffs. So they went ahead and sort of played it like a real game, played their starters, didn't really rest anybody. This year, it's kind of different because the team we're playing in week 10 is also the team we're going to play in the first round of the playoffs. So I would question how much you want to sort of show in that game. I would think maybe, I know in the past, Skip Holtz hasn't rested starters, but I would think that maybe given the situation, this might be a game where maybe you let Matt Corral, play this game next week because he hasn't played in a few weeks. Maybe you let some of those, third string running back or maybe, fourth or fifth string receiver that haven't gotten maybe quite as many reps or looks as some of the starters, play a whole game and just kind of see what they can do and make sure they're ready to go in case you need them in the postseason. And then, if you win with the backup guys in, great, but that's not really going to mean much heading into the playoffs. And if you lose with those guys in, then again, it doesn't, nobody's going to lose any sleep over that because we're going to kind of bring our A game the next week with all our starters in the postseason. So, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the sort of philosophy is kind of going into that game. I don't think Skip has really said yet, what he plans to do. But to me, it feels like, if you put all your starters out there and sort of play it, full tilt, it just, then you got to kind of go to the board and game plan again for the same thing according to plan. Then how's that going to affect the guy's confidence and all that kind of thing? I don't know. It's a weird situation, and Skip is a good coach, but I don't think he's ever had a situation quite like this before. So I'll be interested to see what he does.
Yeah, man.
I kind of think it reminds me of a quote from a movie, Red October, one of my favorite movies. I watched that where the commander of the submarine, he's fighting, this battle he's never fought for. And he said, this guy, he won't make the same mistake twice. And I think of Coach Holtz in that same manner. Coach Holtz has been to the big dance. He's been to the show. He knows what it takes to make a winning team. We'll fix whatever we have to get fixed, and we'll be ready to roll through the playoffs. I think no doubt that Stallions repeat. I think you're going to see Stallions in St. Louis. I think will be the championship. I think we're going to go for the trio factor. As long as we keep it in Bama, I don't care who we play. It doesn't make no difference to me It doesn't matter. I mean, because it's like The Rock says, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm Stallions all in. I think, Skip Holtz, we take this on the chin. Sometimes it does a team good to lose one game like this right before the big dance. So it kind of humbles them a little bit, gets your focus back, and Coach Holtz will have them ready to play next week.
All right.
Yeah. So, Luke, man, something that I want to ask this. These are other fans that kind of have maybe tuning into spring games and watching some of this spring football right now, trying to see what it is. Is this for real? Is this legit? Where do you see this league going in probably the next, let's just say 5 to 10 years? Because I think it's going to be around for at minimum around those numbers. 5 to 10 years is a solid number to estimate. They got some good contracts right now. I've seen, they're getting good air. Where do you see the league going in 5, 10 years? Do you think it's going to expand, bigger, maybe more teams, or, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I think the league, this league is really well positioned with the people they have behind it in terms of Fox, ABC, and ESPN, obviously The Rock, and some of the others who are involved. And the thing is, in the past, when other spring leagues have kind of got their start and you're building from scratch, that's sort of one thing. But this league, because of the fact that it was a merger of the USFL, which the Stallions were in, and the XFL, you really sort of got, the best of what those leagues had built over a year or two and sort of got to bring it into this year. So like just in terms of the coaches, the players, the staff, the cities, like all the things that have gone into this league, I feel like it's a really strong league. And even just, the Stallions, I thought, had a great team and organization the last couple of years, but you can just tell even this year, the quality of the talent and, not only the Stallions, but also the teams they're going up against and stuff. It's just continued to go up and up and up. And more guys, I think, are taking this seriously. And like, for example, I think a couple of years ago, a guy like Matt Corral, who was a 3rd-round draft pick coming out of Ole Miss a couple of years ago, probably maybe wouldn't have gone to the USFL or XFL. Like, I don't know if he would have took it seriously enough back then. But now, after a couple of successful seasons and after seeing the ways that this league has been able to get guys back into the NFL, he decided to take a chance on it and come play for the Stallions. And he's played well for us. But again, we have so many good players. He's actually kind of become the second quarterback behind Adrian Martinez, who, I'm sure is going to be in the NFL next year. So, that just goes to show you the quality of players that have sort of wound up in this thing. And I think, I do think we'll see a few more teams added over the next even potentially in the next year or two, but if not, then definitely, maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, I think
I would like to see that.
Yeah. I think, the tough thing obviously is, there's only so many good quarterbacks and offensive linemen out there. So, I don't know that this league could ever get up to, 20 or more teams or something like that.
No,
but I think you could definitely 12. You could definitely have, I think, 12 really solid teams. I know it's maybe a sensitive subject for the show, but we could talk about some of the guys that got cut from the Stallions, including some really fantastic players from lots of different schools, including a school that we talk about a lot on the show. So there's more talent out there. You know what I mean? Like there's guys sitting on the couch right now that should be playing professional football, and just for one reason or another, they're not in the NFL or this league. Things didn't work out for them either. So there's definitely, I think, enough talent out there to support at least, a dozen teams total. If not, maybe get back up to around 16, which is where they were with these two leagues separated before. So I think, obviously you got to be careful. You don't want to, expand out too fast and kind of, pull the rug out from underneath yourself and, get in too much debt or something like that. Because obviously these leagues, have come and gone in the past and made some bad financial decisions and that kind of thing. So I think they've got to be, you want to be aggressive and kind of build momentum, but you also want to be disciplined and not get too carried away with things. But I think over the next couple of years, you'll see them kind of continue to build on the foundation they've already got with some really great teams and fan bases and stuff like in Birmingham and St. Louis and some of these places. And then, continue to kind of grow that out. And I think, probably in 5 to 10 years, if this thing is still around, then I think you start to see some more conversations about, is there a more formal partnership in some way with the NFL? I mean, I think that's kind of got to be the long-term goal is,
Agreed.
Even if the NFL doesn't own it or something like that, can there be some kind of sort of formal partnership? Yeah. Where
something similar to that.
Exactly.
Which I like it. It's done good. I mean, look at Alex. He played at Green Bay last year, backup quarterback. I think he's still going to be there this year, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
So I mean, he's got some playing time when I think Jordan Love got banged up a couple plays, or they was up a little bit. I watched some. He played a little bit. So that's good. That's good. That's good for the game on both sides. JB, Chris, y'all got anything else for my man Luke?
I just want to add, man. I just want to say, shouts out Bo Scarborough. He retired a Stallion. You know what I'm saying? Bama legend, Stallion legend, 2-time champion with the Stallions. Mm-hmm. And then they need to go ahead. I don't know what happened, but Slade Bolden should be playing for the Stallions right now. I just want to say that Slade Bolden should be playing for the Stallions. And yeah. But it is what it is, man. We're gonna support the team regardless.
Exactly. I mean, and Birmingham will do a great job at, winning produces something.
Yep.
And the NFL is looking at the Birmingham Stallions. They're going to pick several players. I got to think some of these players you see this year, you won't see probably next year. Reuben Foster. I mean, you put Reuben Foster as a Stallion. Bo Scarborough retirement, Alabama. I mean, it's just a pipeline to the NFL. And Birmingham, I'll tell you what I'd like to see, and this is throwing it out there a little bit, Luke. I'd like to see the Stallions take on the NFL team just in a scrimmage, just see how well they would do. Give them a preseason measuring stick. Maybe an interleague, maybe an intra-league, preseason game between some of these teams in the NFL. Let's see how they do.
Preseason roster, because we don't want starting NFL talent. I think it would be, I don't know how that would level out. But the preseason roster, I like that idea because you give other guys a chance, and you're going to have rookies, other guys out there fighting for a shot. So it's going to be a bunch of different,
and guess what else too? You'll be able to see all those guys who play on, the UFL teams. True. Maybe they have them a great game that day and they get signed, get called up. It's a lot. This league is on the up and up, man. And Luke, you do a great job with the Stallions, the State of the Stallion podcast. Make sure y'all check this man out.
Yep. Real quick, Luke. Drop all the socials where people can find you real quick, man, before we move on. Real quick, Luke, tell us where we can find you at.
Yeah, so on I guess we call it X now or Twitter. It's just I couldn't make it State of the Stallions because it was too long, apparently. So it's just SOT Stallions. But you can search State of the Stallions and you'll find me on there. And then also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, all that kind of good stuff. And it's just at State of the Stallions, kind of the whole thing there. And then you can find my podcast on YouTube, State of the Stallions as well, or Spotify or Apple, if you listen on one of those places. But pretty much on any of those, if you just go search State of the Stallions, it should come up.
Yeah. And also just want to say one quick thing. Hey, if Birmingham, if we get to this championship, I want to encourage every Alabama fan to come to Birmingham to support the Stallions. Come there and let's get behind this in-state team. Let's pack that stadium out. Let's get these Stallions another championship. We keep Alabama on top.
Hey, Luke, we play on June the 8th, right?
Yeah. So that's the playoff game, Saturday, June the 8th. It's at, I believe, 2 p.m., I want to say, at Protect.
Bama fans. Come on, Bama fans. Let's get in there.
I'll be there.
My daughter's birthday. I won't be there, bro.
I'll be there,
Luke. Miss that one.
We need to get that game. We need to get that game. Let's pack it out.
Your daughter's more important, but if you're but if it's not your daughter's birthday, then I expect to see you there.
There you go.
Sorry, buddy. It is.
That's all good. That's all good.
But Luke, thank you for coming by. Luke,
appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate your time. We're gonna bring you back too, man. Just stay tight.
After we win the championship,
that'd be awesome.
Celebrate.
Or we're gonna have a championship show. One of the two. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But Luke will be back, guys. Thank you for coming, Luke.
I know some people have forgotten this, but the Stallions do still have Deontay Brown on the roster, former Alabama offensive guard. He's been on injured reserve. So he got hurt early in the first game, and he hasn't been able to get back yet. So I'm really hoping that maybe for the postseason he'll be able to get healthy and get back out there, and we can get him for that kind of championship run, and maybe we can get him on here with us too.
Amen.
That'll be
that'll be
y'all
dope.
Follow Luke on everything, man. Luke, also, I want you to drive safe, man. Luke is traveling. He is a true fan. He is on the road, 2 games all the time, man. This is the man right here, man. Give it up for Luke, guys. Appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate you.
All right, Luke, I love you, brother.
Go Stallions.
Thanks for having me.
Giddy up.
See you guys again soon.
Yep. Yes, sir. Giddy up. Giddy up, baby.
Giddy up.